Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle for the third stream, second stream, I don't know what bloody number stream it is today, I've lost the plot. Right, Leicester City are in Marti Cifuentes' pursuit then, as they look to appoint the ex-QPR head coach. Will Leicester City be having a Marti party? Is the big question. Get involved. Let me know your thoughts on Marti Cifuentes. Would you take him? Have you heard about him? We're going to go through a thread. Reese, how are we? Cool now. Cheers, Jack. Another excuse for another beer low. Hey, do you know what? I'll drink to the bloody appointment, let's be fair, of Marti Cifuentes. But no, we're going to discuss the man himself, the Spaniard, style of football, formation and everything like that. We're going to discuss everything regarding Marti Cifuentes. And yeah, if anyone wants to join, be sure to feel free. We will get people on. I don't know where Clibo is, but I know Reese is in here somewhere, so it'd be good to get fans on, fans' opinion, chat about Marti Cifuentes. And yeah. So, well, the story itself, long time no see, Clibo, mate. It's been like bloody 2 minutes, mate, since I last seen you on Chris's stream. But yeah, we'll get you in anyway. Let's have a look. Reese, how are we?
All right, mate. How are you? So, long time no see. About 5 minutes ago.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah, I bet you've
grown a bloody onesie since then, mate. I mean,
yeah. I took me orange top off, and I thought getting something a bit warmer, ready for bed soon. So, but I thought come on and say hello.
Clibo looks like he's bloody pouring a glass of wine, ready for the celebrations. But
oh yes. Spanish red wine.
Oh, it's got out. I thought he'd have the paella out and everything, though, Clibo. Maybe if they keep clean sheet next season on Called Clibo, mate, they might actually have paella for free down the KP. What do you reckon?
Most probably, yeah, definitely.
Mate, you've got to get him where you fit in. Let's be fair, Clibo. It's been a while.
Yeah. Oh, you know.
I haven't spoke to you since yesterday on my stream. It would have been. Yeah. What do you reckon, Clibo? I mean, new manager. Well, it looks like Leicester City are closing in on getting a manager. Let's take it back to the part of Gary O'Neill. He is now out of the running, according to many sources. Chris Wilder believed to have had a clear run, apparently. But then Leicester City deal the card, don't they? An unexpected card. Fans would not have expected. Marti Cifuentes. I mean, what's been your thoughts on the analysis from O'Neill being a non-runner to Cifuentes? Now Leicester City are looking at getting a deal done.
Well, it is. I like your analogies. It is a little bit like watching the final stages of the Grand National, isn't it? You know, yeah. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, I think I've said to you before. I mean, my only real experience of taking note of the guy was the game a couple of years ago at the King Power, where I thought he absolutely outmaneuvered Enzo in every department. And at his disposal, his substitutes, he brought this big 6'10" giant bin man on to completely outmark and outmaneuver Mavididi, and it was a stroke of tactical genius. So that was my only sort of introduction to him. But obviously, before the stream earlier, I contacted my stats man And he's done his research. And I have to say, it's the perfect, well, as perfect as you can get in our situation. I think the guy's got a higher ceiling than the Championship. He would take us into the Premier League and be able to tweak and adapt the style he's already using in the Championship, which is something, as far as I'm concerned, it's the holy grail. We don't want to be changing systems and players that suit this league and players that suit that league. We need people who can develop under a manager and their philosophy, and then be ready for the Premier League. So that's the only way we stay up, or in my opinion, the only way any club promoted stays up now. So yeah, I'm impressed. I want the guy here. I'm predicting Thursday is when we announce a manager. It's press day. I'm predicting.
It is press day, Thursday. Reece, Leicester City have took a while, haven't they? They do talk about this modern philosophy of style of football, very much data-driven. But then we sort of go in circles with it, because you're going from Danny Rowe to Sean Dyche, from Sean Dyche to Chris Wilder, from Chris Wilder to Gary O'Neill then going back to Chris Wilder again, and then Chris Wilder now to Cifuentes. But Cifuentes is the modern style of football that Leicester City want to play. They've kept their claws close to the chest, haven't they? But they're now sort of dealing the cards now to say, this is the man we want. This is the one we want to try and get a deal done for. And if we can, he's the next man we want at the King Power Stadium.
Yeah, I do think all these names being mentioned, I do think it's a mixture of journalists trying to make a story out of it. Personally, because the club have been very, very closed, short shop in terms of dealing with like leaks and stuff like that. And I also think if you look at the mixture of names linked, Danny Rowe, Chris Wilder, Sean Dyche, Gary O'Neill, Marti Cifuentes. I do think the likes of Danny Rowe, Marti Cifuentes, and to a certain extent, Gary O'Neill, are coming from Top and Martin Glover's side. Whereas I think Sean Dyche, Chris Wilder, and names like that are coming from Rudkin's side. I think there's too much. There's not enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Like when you can't agree on something. One way. What'd you say, Uncle Clibbo? That's the one. Yeah, there's not enough of that, and you need to come to an agreement of what the club wants, and ultimately, it's Top's club, so he should have the final say on who gets the job. Because at the end of the day, it's my club. I want it to run this way, and by the looks of it, if we get this deal done, he's kind of stepped up and gone, no, I want this guy. I want this style of football. So yeah, it's been a bit of a mismatch, but again, I think it's a mixture of what I've just said.
Clibbo, Jack talks about if this does happen, what an underwhelming appointment it would be. Seriously, it is getting pathetic with the amount of managers we are getting thrown about with. Talk to me about Cifuentes. Dawn mentions Danny Rowe. They've both been in similar positions, aren't they, with everything. Danny Rowe's had to suffer the mess at Sheffield Wednesday, hasn't he, and sort of steady the ship and then really do his own magic on it to get it to work. Cifuentes, you look at him at QPR, came into the mess Gareth Ainsworth left. He had to really change, develop, pick everything up, get the fans back on side, and really stabilize a ship that looked very much sunk from both sides through Danny Rowe's Sheffield Wednesday and QPR with Gareth Ainsworth. So how do you sort of look at it? There's a lot of similarities, aren't there, between Danny Rowe and Cifuentes? They both like to play in the same way. They are very much front-footed in style of football. They both do like a bit of possession here and there. They both like to attack and in quick in transition. So what do you sort of look at it when you do look at the Danny Rowe and the Cifuentes? Because they're both the modern style of football coaches now, aren't they, who do use data to their advantage.
Yeah, and I think if you want to stay in the game, by the way, Jack's comment perfectly valid, and I respect his
Yeah, it
opinion.
is. Yeah.
I would. It's not my opinion, but I respect his opinion and every fan's opinion. Um, it's not my opinion based on the fact that they're both modern managers. And
Yeah.
if you're going to say, I mean, I don't know what Jack's preferred manager would be. I guess I would say he probably wants role, right?
Okay.
If you look at the two, they're very similar in experience. Having said that, one is slightly older, and I would say that a manager these days, the perfect age is around 40, 45. I think that's a really good age. There's a good amount of experience. They both sort of learned from the continent,
Yeah.
but Marti has more managerial experience, so that's where I'm slightly confused with the comment. And like I said, I completely respect you, Jack, for your comments, and I'd never dish you for having that opinion. But if you look at it, one's got slightly more experience than the other, but their experiences are very similar.
Let's look at the youth thing. I've got a thread up a bit about Cifuentes, by the way. I know Reese has been doing his sort of work on it as well.
Mm.
So let's talk about the youth setup. Early days, Cifuentes began coaching at 20 at Sadabale in the under-19s, plus youth roles at Ajax and Millwall. His focus was built around player development, detail, and a modern mindset from the start. Perfect for the Leicester youth setup and promotion through the ranks. So he is a youth-minded manager. He does like to bring the youth through. Obviously, we know about Leicester City's youth system, that we are looking to utilise the youth this season, like the Mongers, Evans, Alucos, and players like that. I think this guy has a very much pedigree in bringing the youth system through. He's brought through youth at Queen's Park Rangers. And I think this would be a guy you could rely on to develop people like Monger, Evans, and really help them in the pathway into the real good first team next season in the Championship.
Yeah, I completely agree, Jack. But also, he started his coaching career at 20, and he's 42 now. That's 22 years of experience, and the guy still plays a modern style of football. So you've got the perfect balance there. You've got experience and adaptability when is needed, but then he's got the modern day thinking, because he was brought up with the days of Johan Cruyff, who
Yeah,
played the football that is being played nowadays. So that's a lot of years of coaching. 22 years. It's a lot, and he's still relatively young in the managerial game. So, and coming back to the youngsters, and I think he's going to have a field day from the style of football, from what I've read, and from what be interested. Well, just go into Terence's comment there. He's a very strong-minded character, from what I've read. He has his moments with the QPR board, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all, to a certain degree. I know if you don't want to come across as a knobhead, but at the end of the day, if you want to succeed and you want this manager to do well, you need to give him the tools. And I think with the youth players, he will be given tools to a certain extent, with your Mongers and your Evans, and even other experienced younger players like Bilal and Abdul. So I think, I think there's a good mixture of him to work with those sort of players. So it's very interesting times, and like I said, I've not watched a lot of him, but like I said, I've done all my research tonight, and from what I've read, he seems like the perfect fit at the perfect time.
Clibbo, touching on this one from Terry, I mean, he's very much a manager. He is strong-minded, but he also wants the board to be in the same vision as him. And that's what you always want as a manager, don't you? You want the hierarchy to see the same vision and the same plan. You want to both be on the same page. And this is where managers get frustrated in it, where they'll have one vision and the board will have a complete opposite. And this is where the relationships break down. And this is where Leicester have got to get aligned with it when appointing him, aren't they? To say, you know what, this is what we want. What can you add to that? And is this what you want as well? So if they can both come on the agreement of the same thing, they'll have no problems in the long term of things.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you have to agree these things at the interview process.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that often gets overlooked is at this point, the fans are very, very, very fed up.
Fragile.
And I think when interviewing, I don't trust Rudkin to take the fans' opinion on board.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. So I think if we were to get somebody like him, you have to take his personality into consideration. So in an interview process, you will have already done that if you're going to employ him. So yes, expect a few fireworks, but I don't think at any club that that's never not happened anyway with most managers. I think ultimately, if Rudkin is in the position he's in, the manager still has to respect the fact that he is what he is, but there has to be the mutual respect where they can fall out and toss ideas about chew the fat. I think that's important. But I do think it'd be stupid for anyone to think that nobody falls out with their director of football.
Yeah. Why Reese doing that, Clibo? Andy King. I mean, surely this one would have been brought up as well because Andy King is in the coaching staff at the minute at Leicester City. He's the only man left with, I think it's Andy Hughes, the set piece coach. Marti Cifuentes will bring his own coaching staff in, won't he? There is one that Leicester City are believed to be in talks with QPR to bring him to the club as well. Reese, I don't know if you've got his name there already. The assistant at QPR who he did work with. But yeah, Andy King. Do you realistically think that the club have had conversations about that, and then Cifuentes said, "Well, we can make that work. We can have him in the coaching staff," and because that would help Cifuentes settle quite well, wouldn't it, Clibo, having someone like Andy King who knows the club like the back of his hand and can pass on that knowledge and that experience as a player at the football club and what he's gone through at the club.
My opinion is,
yeah,
the manager that comes in doesn't get the job if he disagrees with that, and I'll tell you why. Something that I've heard Manny say a few times about the conveyor belt.
Yeah,
it has to be for every club going forward. There has to be somebody in place ready to go, and I think the club are actually maybe starting to look and think in a modern way. And I think I'm going to stick my neck out and say the manager after the next one will be Andy King, because I think the philosophy will have to start to be built into the club.
Yeah,
part of the club. If you look at the Premier League team versus all the step downs, the under 21s and the 19s, they all seem to be playing the same philosophy of football. But the disjointedness of the first team, because we're getting patchwork signings that don't make any sense as a team. I think this is a way to build that cohesive ethos around the club. We're all one, and we're all, this is the way we're going to do it. Let's train our own. I think this is the way I'm hoping that the club is starting to look. And I do think Andy King is going to be a key component in whoever comes in.
This is the same when Ranieri were here, Craig Shakespeare were here, man who knew the club, knew what the philosophy was and everything like that of how the club wanted to go forward and what his experience, he passed it on. Jack does say though, Clibo, I would have Roll. I respect your opinion, Clibo, as I don't know much about Cifuentes, but if he is good as you guys say, then I will back him 100%, but I just don't trust our board.
Great post.
Fair point.
Great post.
Right. Xavier Khan is the assistant at QPR. was assistant Cifuentes at Loftus Road with the duo set to link up again at the King Power Stadium. So we'll see. Marti will help King develop as a future manager as well. Cifuentes, let's go into his style of football. Let me find the post that I was looking at very much.
I've got my list right here.
Go on, you start off. You tell me. I'll talk. I'll tell you what. I'll start about his starting of his career, and then I'll let you follow up. So he began his senior journey in Norway, taking control of Sandefjord. Key achievement promotion from Norway's second tier, AAAB top four push in Denmark, Hanaby third in Sweden, cup final in Europe, took QPR from crisis to safety last season. So, Reese, what have you got regarding his style of football?
Well, first of all, I've got a little bit about his life as well. So he grew up in North Barcelona. He's a Catalonian man. Growing up, he went to study at the Johan Cruyff Academy in Ajax to work on his style of play. He gets inspiration from Johan Cruyff's style because he is a Barcelona season ticket holder from his early youth days, and he grew up with that, watching that football. In terms of his football, it's very possession-based football, but it is very, very quick in transition with a lot of pressing involved. And he is very, very adaptable in certain situations as well. He believes in creating triangles and diamonds for passing angles and good movement. Fullback overloads. He wants his fullbacks very high and wide to create to overwhelm the opponent. He is very, very keen on building trust early, so that's a big thing for me as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, a very, very strong character, and he's based on Cruyff's principles: attacking football with ball retention and player freedom.
Fantastic. Where's that post? What I've just had up? Where is it? I bloody lost it. All right, there we go. I've got it. Right, tactics. Cifuentes loves possession and pressing, inspired by Cruyff, as you mentioned. Uses fluid 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, high fullbacks, rotating midfield, quick central overloads, and a modern brave style. He is considered by many in football world to be one of the brightest and most promising coaches, with a distinctive Spanish and Catalan football mindset, focusing on player development. Climo, what do you take from that? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, it's just encouraging.
It is. I mean, to say he's bright and his player development is the main aspect of his career is very impressive.
It's his name. Just say the word Catalan. You know, it's sexy. You know, his name. It's better than. You know, it's the same deal. You know, if you sign Dave Smith from Rotherham, but he's an up and coming great, you're like, oh yeah, great. If you sign Hernandez from, Serie B, you're like, it's that name thing. We're all like it. We all do it. Come on. So I am a little bit.
I'm like that as well. I'm like that.
I'm not going to lie. But yeah, his background is good. The fact that, listen, I don't care if we get a transfer embargo and we have to use the youth. I'm going to trust this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust his guy and his coaches.
Reese, what do you think he can offer at Leicester City? You look at the squad, what we've got. Obviously, it is a lot more quality than the QPR squad that he did work.
Yeah.
He felt he'd probably taken QPR to as far as he could. I think they finished on the same points as in the end of the first season. He managed them into the second season. He did escape relegation with them and pulled them away quite significantly in the end. What do you learn from Cifuentes that he can bring to the squad at Leicester City? Because I'm very much on board with the fact that they'll get on board with him quite quickly, and he'll always bring that experience and knowledge to the team. And I think it's something he's going to build that responsibility and respect straight away with the squad.
Well, I think the first thing initially, he will bring stability because he did that with QPR. They're in the bottom three, and then he'd come in, completely change their style, but he does play to the strength of his players. So he won't ask them to do what they can't do. But I do think with our bunch of players, he's one of the best academies in the world. It's probably top 3 in the world, if you ask me, Ajax.
But going back to Leicester City.
Yeah, that's a big positive, that is. But yeah, going back to his style of play, like I said, with the players that we've got, the more exciting, more quick, more more energetic players that we've got, I do believe that he will be able to do a little bit more with our squad, with how technical some of our players are, like Abdul, Mavadidi, and the younger ones like Monga, Bilal, Alves, even Jake Evans, Aluko at the back as well. So, it's very, very encouraging. Like I said, by the looks of it, he's gone progression with his career. He's gone from different leagues, which I think is good for manager because he can learn a little bit more about his game as well. And going back to the Andy King thing, sorry to go off topic, boys, but he's going to come in now and think, right, you're going to learn how the great Johan Cruyff played football. And you're going to add that to your CV and you're going to promote your style of football as well. So again, it can only benefit everyone involved at the club. He can build his stock up. We get attractive football. We get potentially Premier League football again. It's just the all-round package for me. And it's a little bit more risk-free than Danny Roll, in my opinion.
I'm very much, as soon as you mentioned Johan Cruyff and the way he played football, that'd definitely get you off your seat. The players would get on board with that straight away. I'm not even going to lie. What a player, what a career. For everything he did for the Dutch team, that Dutch side was one of the best ever Dutch sides in football history, internationally, and what that guy, to learn off the very best and really idolize what Johan Cruyff did and put that into his coaching, to then, when he does manage a team, to put that into his style and the project, that is the future of where he sort of sees himself and what he can do. Yeah, Van Basten again, another good player, another cracker. So maybe we might see it really get us off our feet, because that's what you want to see. He speaks a lot about fight as well, doesn't he? A desire. He wants a lot of commitment from his side. You've seen it with QPR when they played Leicester in the Championship and they came to the King Power, and you were thinking, hold on a minute, this ain't the plan. This guy's bloody come here and turned us over. And that was worrying at that point, thinking, what is going on here? Like, I think it was Sinclair Armstrong came off the bench and he scored straight away from the set piece. And QPR seemed to be very good with the set pieces as well. And Ilias Chair, another player he developed well, because it wasn't working under Gareth Ainsworth. As soon as Cifuentes came in, he put his arm around him and said, well, this is what we're going to do, Ilias. This is what I want to see you do. And then it went from there, didn't it, Clibbo? And talk to me about how excited that could be, the Johan Cruyff style of football that he could potentially bring to Leicester and how it could influence the squad.
Well, these are players that I kind of grew up
Cruyff taught Pep
idolising, and your Van Bastens, and although they are maverick players, and it'd be difficult to sort of work them into today's sort of systems and how we play these days. You can't help, if you're going to learn from somebody like that and the way that guy played the game. If you graduated, you've got to know your shit. Excuse my language.
Manny, are you coming in or what?
Come on, Manny. Come on, let's get him in here.
Like this style of football, Manny. What you've been screaming for? Carry on though, Clibbo. Go on.
You're going to learn the best, and you graduate from that academy. You got to know something about the game, and I think the key thing about this guy for me is that if he's going to teach that, I think that the lads, the youth in the academy will be probably looking at this, maybe even watching these streams, looking and going, wow, and doing the same research that he's done and yourself. I could actually really learn a lot from this guy. And the likes of Bilal, might just stick around for a season.
Mm.
You know, that's a really important thing. Would he stick around under Chris Wilder?
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. It's not happening. It's not happening.
So, under QPR in October 2023, for when he took over, saved them from relegation, improved their shape, fewer goals conceded, so he likes to keep it very tight. Leicester's defence has been very much leaky on it.
Yeah.
More pressing, adapted tactics mid-game, so he has got a plan A and plan B to see results with a clear sign of sharp in-game thinking, has a plan B to change and adapt. This is what I like. This is what I want to see, a manager who can not just play one plan, he can play two and play into the strengths of every player, really, because you look at some of the squads, like the stronger sides in the Championship, like your Sheffield United, Southampton, Ipswich, and that. He'll want to adapt and change it to play more of a stronger offence. And then you look at your sides like your Bristol Cities, your Charltons, and that. He'll play a different game again to suit the opponent. Manny, I've just touched on his QPR about his clear signs of sharp in-game thinking. He's a changeable and adaptive very manager, Marti Cifuentes. I know you're a man who loves this style of approach of the way you talk about your managers and that and coaches in the world of football. What is your initial thoughts on Marti Cifuentes? Because Johan Cruyff, it screams excitement, to be honest, when you do hear that name. But is that something you sort of do it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know me, I love that. I love that stuff. I love the chess side of it, the analyst side of it, the tactical side of it, the mental side of it. He's going to do this, so how do I counter that? But then they're going to counter that idea with this, and then how do I do that? And you just go on and on like that in this battle. I love those games of strategy. I love games like poker, chess, Chinese Go, even Monopoly as a kid, any kind of those strategy at Risk, all those games where you have to think. I love that stuff. And tonight, it's quite funny that Enzo Maresca's just taken Chelsea to the Club World Championship final. And I know everyone's going to say they didn't play anybody, but I didn't see Pep anywhere making the final this time. So you can see that the style that Enzo has is very similar to Cifuentes has. That style is still working enough to get Chelsea to fourth with a reduced age, playing this certain way. It's not really something I like to say, but just look at what Chelsea are doing, and we should be copying what they're doing. They're sneakily building the youngest unit out there who are getting game time together. With that game time, they've already qualified for Champions League. They've already won that Mickey Mouse tournament that they were in, but they still won it. And they've made the final. They're going to play, Madrid or PSG in the final. So you don't expect them to win the final, but they've done their job in getting there. The style is effective. The youth approach is effective. We can do our own version of that in the Championship for sure.
Yeah.
But if you but when these kids like Chelsea, fast forward 2 seasons, these Chelsea kids aren't going to be kids anymore. They're going to be 25 in prime age, having played together for 2 years. That's kind of why I want us to go. I want us to start building now, that in 2 years' time, if it is 2 years, 1 year hopefully, but if 2 years or even 3 years, those kids have played 150 games together or 100 games together, and they know, without even thinking, I know where the runner's going to go. Like you saw the link-up play between Aluko, Page and Monga the other day. Those kids have been playing together. They know where the other guy's going to be. They know where he's going to run to. It's second nature now. They feel it with each other. So I thought it was a good day to see that there's a proof that system still works. And compared to some of the rubbish that we've been linked with recently, I feel I don't know you guys, I feel very relieved tonight. I don't know about you.
Well, I'll just touch. Sorry, Uncle Clibbo. I just touched on that at the start of the show, Manny. I think it's a mixture of journalism, trying to make a story out of it, and try and get a few clicks and a few likes and whatnot. Because the club have been very closed door on the manager cards, and you can just tell. But I also think that there's a bit of disjoint at the top of the club in terms of what they want. I do believe that. This appointment between Marti Cifuentes, Danny Roll, and to a certain degree, Gary O'Neill, are all top and Martin Glover suggestions. John Rudkin will definitely be suggesting Chris Wilder and Sean Dyche. So I think it's a combination of those two, personally. And just going back to what you said, Jack, about adaptability, shows that he's not arrogant. It shows that he's not afraid to go, right, my style is not working. I need to change it. And that's the problem that Enzo had. He was very, very stubborn in his ways. And I like that with a manager to go, right, it's not working. I've got to change this.
Boys, I want to touch on one with you, actually. Manny, I think you might actually have more knowledgeable on this one. So then, Bo Svensson, what do we reckon, lads? He's one that Leicester have looked at. He's a Danish coach, worked at one of the German clubs. Was it Union Berlin? I think it was.
Mainz as well, I think.
What's your thoughts on Bo Svensson? Obviously, he's one that Leicester have looked at according to the Independent, like a Deitch, a Wilder, Gary O'Neill. What's your perspective on Bo Svensson, Manu?
I know jack shit about this guy, so I'm just going to pass it over to the other two. There's no point me. Yeah, Bo Selector. I know that. That's about it. Could get him in. What was that Channel 4 show where the guy had the giant head? He used to walk around. That was it, wasn't it? So, I've got that. I've got a vision of that's what he looks like in my head. But apart from that, look, I don't want to talk about things I don't understand properly. I don't know anything about this guy, to be honest. I've got a mate who lives in Mainz. Actually, I might give if it gets serious, then I'll give him a shout. And he's a Newcastle fan that lives in Mainz. Weirdly, I'll give him a shout, and he goes to watch Mainz regularly. So I get the lowdown on the guy if required. But there wouldn't be I don't know. Reece sort of was talking about what the club is sort of maybe doing with this, in pure speculation. But there has been the idea floating around that the club are throwing these little bits of bait out there to gauge what fan reaction is. So you use channels like yourself, Chris, obviously BTG, just to see how the fans are feeling about this. And generally, when one by one, we've had Martin, knocked him down. We've had Wilder, knocked him down. Dyche, we knocked him down. O'Neill, he got knocked down quickly as well. And now it's come to Cifuentes, but it doesn't seem like there's any great momentum to knock this guy down. Everyone's like, I can live with that one. That one was right. Yeah, we'll take this. We're happy with that. Maybe they're doing that.
I've got a little bit on him, Bo Svensson. He's the manager of Mainz in the Bundesliga. He's very much the Danny Roll sort of style of football. Plays 3-4-1-2, two strikers, which is quite good. High wing backs, very high central mid. So it's very much high pressing, high attacking sort of thing. So I think that could be another top suggestion. Again, I've not got too much here, but it's very high intensity. Aggressive but fair is one of the things I've read here. But it's very much counter-attacking football. This is for Bo Svensson.
We've learned a lot in a short space of time about him because I didn't know who it was, to be
You're
honest.
welcome.
Let's have a look at the stats snapshot is what this Fred has got it down as. So at Hammarby, 56% average possession, top 3 in Sweden. QPR, 1.3 points per game, clean sheets improved, fewer shots faced, saved from a precarious position, standards judged, huge jump in, build-up play starts, dressing room, clear communicator, demands intensity and buys into youth, knows for man management, repositioning players' creativity like Jimmy Dunn at right back at QPR, very Enzo-esque.
1.3 points per game projects 60 points a season at QPR with a pretty average team.
Yeah.
To get 60 points on that projection, didn't have a full season, granted, but they were dog. They were struggling at the bottom under Ainsworth. They were awful, like embarrassing every week, getting battered. And to turn a team in that to get 1.3. So if you had a team that was in a good place, then you could rise that 1.3 even higher, which means with a team of the quality of ours, you should be looking at higher than 1.3 points. If you want to look at it mathematically, if he can achieve 1.3 with an average squad in the Championship, with a relatively decent squad like ours, and potentially, well, see if we've got any money to spend or not, you're looking at projected, guaranteed playoffs, and a very, very, very strong chance of promotion. Considering, well, let's see what happens with the points deduction first, but assuming no points deduction, Premier League's coming back soon, boys, with Mr. Cifuentes in charge.
And would you agree?
Go on.
Like, and I'm sorry to keep harping on about this, but it's the only reference I've got to this guy is the QPR game. He completely outthought
Enzo, yes, he did. Correct. Go on, Clipper. You're right. The away game, right, that we lost.
No,
this was at home. We were
The
at
home
home.
game, was it? Was that the one we
Yeah.
lost? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we won away. Yeah, that was it. Wing scored away, wasn't it?
He completely
Yes.
outthought with a bunch of donkeys.
I don't know if it's about in love, but you know what it's like? It's like if you get served a shit sandwich, then suddenly beans on toast feels like gourmet food. You know, it can, you know, it's some. We've just been. It's like anything. It got to a stage where it was like anything but these guys. But actually, this is better than anything but. This is an intelligent appointment, and it's compatible with our squad. It's compatible with the way that the kids have been trained. It's the way that Monga's been playing. It's the way those other guys have been playing. It's technical passing, intricate football with lots of triangles, lots of sub-units, lots of interaction of play, lots of versatility, switching around positions. This is logic. This is what you do. If you train a kid to play a certain way for 10 years, then play him that way in the first team, right? You don't need to be a genius to work that out. But it's amazing. What?
Manny, would you take him tomorrow or roll in a week?
It's a great question. It
puts you on the spot, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
The only thing I want to watch this coach that I'm saying. There's this coach's voice video on Cifuentes on YouTube that I'm going to watch.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I've watched it.
I want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. Was it good?
He said
it's brilliant. It's so clever. It's basically how he nullified Leeds when they beat them 4-0. It was so clever. Really, really clever on how he approached it.
Well, I mean, everything would indicate to me that he's a very intelligent young man.
Mm-hmm.
Was he 42?
42.
Yeah, not far off, mate. Still young. That counts as young. Like, I mean, it's what we've been asking for, a young manager. And like I think Royce pointed out, and I mentioned earlier as well, the guy's, he's no novice. Don't get fooled by the number 42. He's got 20 years coaching experience. This guy was a nothing player. He's probably as good at football as like us guys, right? But the last 20 years, he's worked his tits off to get to where he is. And now he's found himself as even a championship manager is no small achievement when you weren't a good player or don't have anything career behind you. This guy's had to, by hook or by crook, scrape, beg, work long hours, get paid nothing during that time as well. He's probably got a family to support. This guy's determination, things like that, shouldn't be underestimated. And if this guy's earned his stripes, he wasn't given to him. So everything would indicate on the surface that it's a smart, sensible appointment. Like I said on earlier on BTG, you try and look at things from the other way then. So say, okay, look, I'm probably a bit biased to this style of football, so let's pretend that I'm not and look at it from what is wrong with this? What could go wrong? What might not work? What could the issues be?
They've been suspended quite a lot, the bookies with Cifuentes tonight.
Wow, yeah.
And when I look at it,
the day before they appointed him,
Looking good, man. Looking good.
yeah, and the only downside I could come up with was the fact that Vestergaard might get a game again, and I find that personally a little bit upsetting because I'm not a fan of his. But he's a passing centre back in that league. He won't get pushed too much. He's already shown that he can handle that league okay. So he might be back in the squad. But if that's the worst thing, and you're utilising Winks, who's got 1 year left. You're utilising Ricardo, who's got 1 year left in those positions that they excel in. So it is compatible with the sort of players that we have. I can't think of a downside with this one, and I've been trying to. I want to find a reason not to like it because that's always when you're doing risk management, you have to find the things that even that you don't like, but you have to find those problems. Even though normally you gloss over them, and go, yeah, don't worry about that. That's not my way. I want to go into. So I'm going to do some homework tonight and watch some of his clips on Tube and things like that. See what I can find out about him. But as the boys mentioned, that QPR, like Clibo mentioned, he outsmarted Enzo. That's no mean achievement. He outsmarted Enzo, and Enzo just made the World Club final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want him tomorrow rather than in a week?
Come on, Manny. Come on.
Which one are you going for? Because I don't think we can wait around, to be honest, for any appointment now. I think.
Do you know what? I'll swear because I said again. I checked my WhatsApp history and I typed in Cifuentes because I know I've mentioned his name before to other City fans of ours, and I looked in apparently in April and May last year that I was a little bit in love with this guy. I was like, this guy at QPR, I don't know what his name is, and I found his name. It's like he's doing a good job there because they look like they're actually playing some good quality football, and he's got a shit squad. So I that was a year ago, and I sent all the little pics to Locke saying, yeah. Apparently, I forgot it in the ether, but I think I might take him over Roll. You know what? Anything like Roll, him, or even King, I can live with any of those. If you want to go on principle, you might go this guy, Cifuentes. If you want to go the fans' perhaps first choice favourite, you might go Roll. I still think there's another guy out there that never been mentioned, a guy called Merlin Poltzin. You will hear that name in the future. Again, similar thing, but this is the same. We're talking 35 to 42, that kind of age range, foreign, speaks English well, bright. This guy actually has some real life experience. The players are going to like this. You know, they already bring back Enzo. We miss you. They want to play that way.
I agree.
So
I'm in agreement. If I wanted the job at Leicester City, he'd have made
agreed. And you've also got to mention this guy's willing. I know he can't. He's willing to pay his compensation with QPR, and he wants to get back into work. If Roll, there's nothing come out of Roll saying, "Oh, we've had talks, blah blah blah," or anything like that. This guy wants the job, and from what I'm reading, that's the vibe I'm getting from him. He wants to come into work here.
I'm bloody right. You know what I mean? What a fun! Like I know we've been through the crapper the last 2 out of the last 3 years, but this is the best job outside the Premier League in the country. Make no mistake.
It is. But let's have a look at board relations. This is the key component, Manny, where we talk about the board. Left clubs when visions didn't match. Wants backing, staff and alignment on long-term goals. Does Cifuentes. Could be key at Leicester after turbulent years, but support hasn't been much great with previous managers.
Well, you'd hope to think that they, like anything in life, you learn as you go along. Everybody makes mistakes. The key thing is, can you learn from those mistakes? Now, we obviously went down last time and we did a smart thing. We appointed Enzo. Now, we made a mistake after that by not continuing the work that Enzo had started. So we went down Cooper. We made another mistake with Rude. Now, I'd like to think that now they've realised, actually, we tried Enzo, we tried Cooper, we tried Rude, we tried 3 different approaches. One of those 3 approaches worked. Most of the fans were on board. The players were on board. Look at how that manager's gone on to bigger and better things instantly. Why don't we just... Well... I did. Look, I've been. It's got a fair point because I've been pumping Willy Caballero. For a long time. And what was the point of Willy Caballero? Because it's the same as Enzo. It does the same thing. You don't need 2 months for the new manager to get his new ideas across. There are no new ideas. Pretty much, maybe a little tweak. But the guys already know what's going on. You're ready to go. Let's go. Let's get into it. Let's get up. So it is winning football. Whether you like it, also won the bloody championship last time. People forget that when we played this style of football, we finished first in the championship. When we didn't play this style of football, we definitely got relegated from the Premier League. So we still don't have the answer how we would have done. We don't know how that style of football would have done in the Premier League, and that is a bigger question. But the interesting point with this guy is it sounds like he is willing to take it on a bit, as in incorporate fast transitions, incorporate a higher press. Well, the higher press is still part of the old way too, but he's willing to hit it long occasionally, which occasionally is the right thing to do. It's not a long ball; it's a smart ball.
All things we were doing in that match against Peterborough, winning the ball fast, getting back into defensive, hitting a long ball now and again. All the things that we were already doing.
And I hope that means that Kingy was kind of demonstrating to Mr. Cifuentes, Senor Cifuentes, that you know what I know what I know what you're doing. I can work with this. You know, I can get on board with all of this stuff. And he opened up with, we used to call it Enzo Ball, but we're going to have to call it Marti Ball soon.
Party.
So maybe, like, if it fits in with Andy King, it fits in with our youth, it fits in with our recent history, it fits in with our players, it fits in with 90% of the fan base. There's not many that tick all of those boxes. Even Danny Roll, not many of those tick all of those boxes. And personally, I'm just a big, I think Spanish managers are very bright. They've showed in recent history, look, Emery smashing it, Iriola smashing it. Spanish teams have dominated for donkey's years. These guys, and if you know your history, Spain used to have a bloody empire around the world like Britain and Portugal. Spanish people are smart. Make no mistake, they're clever.
As well.
So, yeah, I think I might just... It's a long-winded way as usual, but I think I'll take Cifuentes overall.
Yeah, I like that.
Manny, there's a question for you. Is he a part of the Wasserman agency?
Send me an email. You know, if they want to send me, a contract my way, we'll have a discussion.
I don't. I'm actually looking at the list. He's not a part of that agency.
No, I don't know.
I
To be honest, I don't know. You'd have to check. You'd have to double check who's on their books. But more importantly, maybe they want to get me on their books. And yeah, get me on there. I'll hook you up. It's easy. People call you. They call you for advice. You give them advice. They pay you money. That sounds pretty good. Quite like that idea. Yeah, that sounds good. But no, on a serious note, that all these outsourcing ideas, delegating responsibility, basically trying to, help. I mean, getting assistance is one thing. Picking a few brains and getting some ideas is one thing. But giving the decision, I think the analogy I used is, imagine you're in a high point of a company, you're a CEO of a company or chairman of a company, and you've got to change direction. So what you do is you get a temporary employee in for a week. The temporary employee... The temporary employee comes for a week. He has a look round, has an evaluation, then he makes the decision on how you should move forward. You can't be giving serious decision making to a third party. Yeah, but so I mean, look, they come up with a decent conclusion at the end of it. Look, we've given Mr. Rudkin grief. We've given, well, not me, but other people have given top grief.
Yeah.
Look, if someone does something awful, they should get criticised. If somebody does something good, they should get praised. It's pretty simple, meritocratic world. If they come up with Marti Cifuentes, I think from our point of view, we don't want to revision history if he opens up with a stinker and say, look, he's an idiot, we don't know what he's doing. Look, we're in this too. And our opinion, I think, the consensus is we're happy with that appointment. It's a smart appointment. Doth my cap to you, bravo.
Yeah,
my main takeaway from this is that I think the players are obviously, they're probably as dumb as us to what's actually going on. But I think if they're looking at this, they're going, that guy will make us really, really good. He'll do what we want to do. He'll play the way we want to play. And I think if you're a player at Leicester and looking at the potential appointment of him, it might make you want to put that pen to that paper.
Look, you've got to have engagement. Like if you're in any organisation, if you want a leader of that organisation, if you want the team to be as successful as it can be and to maximise its potential, then you have to have unity. Everybody's got to be on board. And remember, with Enzo, we had those 6 players when we got relegated that wanted to jump out the door. They spend 1 week with Enzo in pre-season training and go, change my mind. I want to stay. I want to be part of this project moving forward. Hold on. 5 minutes ago, you were happy to walk out the door. But now you want to be part of the project. Yeah. I want to stay. I want to be part of this project. They've already bought in 1 week. They've already decided, I fancy this guy. I'm behind this guy. From that moment on, our promotion was assured. It was assured from that first week of pre-season because straight away the players are engaged in the process. And if you've got everybody engaged and everybody on board in the same direction, as long as you've got the quality and the work ethic, which we had anyway coming down, then there's no way that you're going to fail. So I'm hoping, again, points deduction barring, that we're in a similar situation.
Let's have a look what he brings to the table, Manny. So, a bold, modern identity, focus on controlling positional play, but adaptable. Could rebuild the confidence and style, crucial in a chaotic championship.
Yeah, I mean that's like it's just the same as what we did before, isn't it? You keep the ball, It's like a game of chess. You hold on to it, let the opposition get knackered running after it, and when they overrun and pull out of shape, you exploit the spaces around there, and then the quality of your attack is going to be a higher quality attack because they're all over the shop. And then the last 20 minutes, they're going to be knackered because they've been running after the ball for 70 minutes. And you're not going to be knackered because you're letting the ball do the work. This is what Liverpool used to do in bloody 70s. This is nothing particularly brand new. Cloughy used to do it as well. You let the ball do the work so your legs don't have to. And then over a 46 game season, imagine you're saving 0.5% of your energy because of that, and you multiply game after game. At the back end of the season, you're going to finish strongly. This is why Chris Wilder ran out of legs, by the way. Their team were blowing after an hour in that final because they were cream crackered because their style meant you have to be high intensity energy all the time, and they didn't have the youthful legs to do that, so they ran out of gas. And the youthful Sunderland, who had the legs, the last half an hour, they score twice and go through this. So I think it all makes a lot of sense from that point. I still might have a preference for a slightly different style of football, but I think there is a possibility that this guy can incorporate the best of both different systems.
People have been betting a lot on the odds checker, by the way. Steven Gerrard's 1 to 100. Marti Cifuentes is 1 to 100. And Sean Dyche is 1 to 25. A lot of people have been putting cheeky £1 bets on different managers now, haven't they, to keep the betting. all the other bets, Paddy Power, Sky Bet, and all that, Cifuentes is suspended on all of them. So, watch the space. I mean, someone's just commented, where is it? Where is it? Come on, guys. It's like 11:20 and it's still streaming. Do you know what? It gives you something to watch on a night time. It gives you something to go to bed with a smile on your face instead of worrying about the next.
You guys want to see the state of Locks the last 4 days, honestly. He's sending about 500 messages a day, panicking about every little rumour. It's definitely going to be Wilder. What are we going to do? I'm giving up the channel. I don't want to do this anymore. Honestly, I've had enough. He's not sleeping. He's checking his phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. Then he's checking it at 5 in the morning. He's checking it at 6 there. He's not sleeping. He's not eating properly. He is freaking out. But today, it's like a pressure cooker. All that pressure seems to have relieved today. And, sorry, the wife tried to come in. She's been shooed away. Shoot her away.
Manny, what's your thoughts on his coach?
Honestly, what? Sorry?
What's your thoughts on his coach at Queen's Park Rangers?
Oh, you mean Chevy Calm?
Yeah.
I don't know anything apart from the name,
but
I like it.
You?
Yeah, well, like
I think he's more the defensive side to his style of play. Xavier Calm, whatever his name is. I think he's more the defensive side of work to his system. So it could be good to bring him in. Apparently, I think I read somewhere as well, his set pieces are quite good they were very good at QPR as well. So maybe he can come in and sort them out and get some bleeding decent corners in the box and actually defend some corners for a change. So that's another tick of the box for me.
Alves in corners.
Yeah. He looked at it when they even out 4-10s on corners. Were it last time they visited the King Power in the league? Not the 6-2 game, the other one.
We get Nelson and Coley. We're going to be good at corners this season coming up. Those two are going to be animals in the attacking box. They got goals in them.
Much better. Wilder, especially, always not happening.
Even when Madders was taking corners, they were never really that threatening, were they?
You can never beat the first man.
No, yeah. Shocking, really. A player of that quality, and I thought, right, Alves, he's gone up for the corners. Let's see what he can do. But he was putting them in areas. He wasn't actually placing it on someone's head, but he was putting it in dangerous areas. And I think for a long time we've not had. I think I've said this before, but we've not had defenders that are willing to come into the box and
Clibber, you and I grew up on Matty Elliott and Steve Walsh that used to come up with double digits a season in goals from the back.
Yeah.
I think Matty Elliott, I swear he scored 15 goals in the season once. 15 from centre back. 15. Sanity.
We're definitely in overdrive, Paul. We are sorry we're keeping you awake, mate, but it is what it's afraid, we've actually found some positive news tonight and not bloody the meltdown of the bloody Twitter scope of it all and everything like that of O'Neill and Wilder and whoever else. Danny Rowe is the modern fit, but if he wanted to come, he'd have done that by now. It wouldn't have took this long, but he clearly isn't interested. Manny,
it's their chairman. I think that chairman's a difficult guy to work. He's like he know if you want Roll, they're desperate for money. He's going to squeeze you like an orange, isn't he? He wants every last drop out of you that he can get, and he's not making it easy.
These comments tonight, guys, are absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant comments tonight.
I bet you the manager can't cook like my wife.
You got to laugh.
That might be a possibility.
My wife is. Nah. Is he good at cuddling? Is he a good cuddler? Is he a good cuddler?
The Spanish are quite spicy.
Oh, love Spanish food. Maybe I like Spanish culture. I've spent a lot of time in Spain. I speak Spanish pretty well. I love that. I've been there 12 times. Like so many Brits always go to Spain. It's something that we have affinity with. I don't cook. Deliveroo. I can Deliveroo really well. So I can just go on my phone and it gets delivered to my door in half an hour. We can have these late night interesting chats about the philosophy and evolution of football. I mean, how could you not be bored?
Handbag comment.
Yeah. So look, I like me. I think just like a bit like it's like the weather. Spanish seems sunny and a bit exotic and a bit exciting, and we don't really know, and it's all good. But then, when you get to like Wilder, you're like, northern, cold, rainy, boring. Nah, don't fancy that.
Yeah,
just quickly, I mentioned this on Chris's channel earlier in terms of the appointment, and Clibbo and Uncle Clibbo and Jack seem to agree with me. It seems to be the right appointment to appease both generations of fans.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a disconnect between the older generation of Leicester fans and the newer generation. The newer generation wants to see that modern style of football, and you're going to get that with this guy. The older generation want to see they just want to win. You get that with this guy, and he will win at all costs. So in terms of that sort of thinking, it might be the best appointment for our fans as well to reconnect and get back together to how we used to be. So I don't know what your thoughts were on that, Manny.
I think that you're right. I think that's bang on. Actually, you're never going to get somebody that everybody is happy with. It's impossible when you've got people who have completely different extreme views of how the game should be played. So you want an element of, in an ideal world, you want the capability to play every style of football, every formation, and every player can play in every position too. It's not obviously how it works in the real world. But given the fact that some of the fans were mumbling and grumbling about Enzo last time, and, even though, I couldn't believe it was 17 points clear in the Championship. Do you know, when we've never been 17 points clear of anything apart from relegation, certainly not near the top. And we still had fans moaning, it's too slow, too boring, get it forward a bit. Mate, relax, be patient. It's like life, people just want instant results, there's no patience. There's a perfectly sensible reason why these sideways passes at the back are taking time. I'm waiting for the opposition to overcommit. Like, if they just stand still, then okay, I would again like to quicken it up a little bit. But there is method to the madness. These guys have spent their lives, decades, evaluating football to every detail. Do you think they don't know what they're doing? Do you think Enzo Maresca didn't know what he was doing? He's just in the final of the Club World Championship. He's not stupid. He's a highly intelligent man. He's worked with highly intelligent people. So having one of those guys on board gives me confidence rather than somebody who, is football from hit it to Lee Chapman, and let him knock it down. Clibbo, remember Lee Chapman, just give it, I used to love Les Ferdinand, but I don't want to hit it long to Les Ferdinand. Les Ferdinand played for us 20 years ago. Not anymore.
I think that's where and this is no dig at the older generation at all. I'm not calling them out at all. But I think that's where they kind of struggle a little bit with the modern thinking of football. Whereas I understand it more because obviously I'm at that generation. Obviously, you've grown to understand it as well, Manny. And Uncle Clibbo, to be fair, he's kind of getting on board with it as well. So it's just finding
progressive Uncle Clibbo. Progressive Uncle.
Yeah, progressive Uncle Clibbo, yeah. But it's just finding that balance of appeasing both sets of fans. And I think we've got the closest appointment with this guy in charge. He's willing to win whatever it takes. He will win a 1-0, but he is willing to give the fans, the younger generation fans, the exciting football. So that's where I hope we can get some more connect with the different generation of fans with this appointment.
I think
Go on, sorry, go on.
I think with managers like Enzo, it's particularly coming to a club like Leicester. It's very different to what we've had in the past. You can tell though he's got this plan and this systematic way of doing things, and he can see the wood for the trees. And to be a successful manager, it's convincing the fans.
There is a very good reason for that. Just to think of it logically, if you have, say, 3 styles of football and you spend your week of training, depending on who you're playing this weekend, we need to play like this. So let's practice that this week. That's what will normally happen. We're playing them. We're going to play like this. We'll work on it all week. We'll execute it the weekend. Next week, we'll see who we've got. We'll come up with a new plan. We'll practice it all week, repeat, and do the same. But the plans will be different each week. Now, it's adaptable to your opposition, so that's the logic of it. It kind of makes sense. But Enzo's way and Pep's way is different. Just no, we've got one plan. We're going to spend every day, all year, perfecting this plan. So it becomes second nature. You don't have to think. It becomes muscle memory. You instantly do it. You're already, after game, it gets drilled into you. I need to stand here. I need to be waiting here. If I get the ball, I'm going to pass it there, or I'm going to be looking there. Imagine receiving the ball. Normally, when you receive a football, you have a look around, and then you think, what do I want to do? And then when you get the ball, you make the decision. Now, these guys, the ball's coming to you, the decision's already been made, what I have to do next. So that the step of thinking is taken out of the equation, which means you can move the ball quickly. So at peak, you see why Man City win 4 leagues out of 5, because it's just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, what the hell? People don't know what's going on around them because they can do it quickly at high quality. And to be fair, even like people like Wout Fass was passing pretty well. His diagonals were pretty good. Vestergaard was looking cultured. All the players were doing fine. This is smart play designed by smart people that if you spend all day perfecting one trade, you become the master of one trade rather than becoming a jack of many.
I agree.
I
do think they've smokescreened this though very well, Leicester City. I think this is what they've done with what you said, Manny, before. They put Wilder's name out there. They put O'Neill's name out there, and they wanted to see the reaction of the fans to say, this is what we're going to give you. Go with it. Let's see what Leicester City fans do, sort of appeased with it, and then they'll find out that Leicester fans are not happy. They'll look at social media. They'll look at everywhere, the channels and everywhere to see what's actually being said. And then they think, this ain't the appointment. This is. And then Cifuentes goes, psh, there it is. I always said there's more to play, though, in this one. And there it is.
Jack, if that happens, will fans and us credit the club for doing it that way?
You'll never find out if they've actually watched or had a look at anything, because you can't tell, can you, who watches and who or anything. They could go behind and take a cat and agree with everything you're saying.
for keeping quiet about it. And you know what I mean? Because we do left of field quite well, but given what's gone on with the club recently, the fact that we've kept it quiet and everybody's a little bit fed up with the quietness. If we've kept quiet and it's allowed us to get a manager like him, will the club and as fans give the club credit?
I think you have to. I think
you've got to, yeah.
Kept us on our toes, haven't they? They've kept us thinking, who will it actually be? And then some of the names have come out and they think, oh, for God's sake, we'll look at the reaction. Then another name's come out and they've been like, oh, okay, then. Oh, I love this. Look at Cifuentes. Look at the amount of positive posts come out of that as soon as that name come out. Oh, I love this. Oh, this, I can get on board with this. O'Neill comes out, it's like, nah, I ain't having that. The meltdown happens.
I hope they do. I hope they do watch these things because it is a good test. It's you're testing the pulse, aren't you? You're seeing what the fans are feeling, and not all of us fans agree. Like not everyone agrees with me. You've got other fan channels who have completely different ideas too. So why don't you see what the fans are feeling? See how the chat's doing. Try and use that as a poll and see what the fans want. And you don't necessarily have to listen to the poll. That's what I'm saying. But you don't want the manager to come into a
good sausage.
You don't want the manager to come in.
That never happened. I'm afraid.
So you don't want the manager to come in and the fans already to be on his back from minute one. You know they weren't having it like Cooper, right? The fans weren't having it from the beginning. It was never going to work. You know you want to go into it and everybody, like I said, is in unison. Everybody's on board. So using these kind of late night shows and I don't know how many. Jack's done about 100 streams in about the last 4 days. And
I think you lot have as well.
Well, we absolutely. There's a lot.
We've been on top with everything.
I mean, I think we're all. Dare I say, I think we're doing a damn good job and a service to the club just by having the chats open. Because by having the chats, you help clarify things in your own mind, don't you? You hear different people speak, you hear different ideas, and you go, "Yeah, I like what he's saying. I like what they're saying. That makes sense." You clarify it in your mind, and you become smarter about the game. You know, that's what we're doing. And it sounds like the club could potentially sometimes use a bit of help about trying to get some different ideas about which direction to go in. So, yeah, John, I love this late night stuff. I am a night owl. I love late night. Yeah, late night. I'm all at late night. These BTG streams are normally too early for me. 7 o'clock. No, I prefer 11.
Consistent. I tell you what, Manny is my director of football, actually. I think I'd know where everything is and how it actually goes.
Oh, in that case, Jack, you're fired.
Sugar.
I'm getting Marti Cifuentes in, mate. You're out the door. Sorry. First move. You appointed me, and my first job is to fire you. I'm just joking. It would be nice to think that we did actually, like as a fan group, have some kind of influence.
And QPR fan. Cifuentes very good, very well given. He can get his players. That seemed to be the problem when dealing with Nori. I think he's on about. He's on about the CEO. Is he at QPR? I think he's still.
I think so.
He'll do very well given that he can get his players. So if Leicester City say, "Well, we'll give you this," but then if you actually look at the squad we've actually got, the only thing Leicester City realistically need is a striker. And I'm not saying Lyndon Dykes, for God's sake, before anyone puts it out there. Because we've got Daka, who can't score at the minute, so it's not going to look good any other way. The only one I'd take from QPR is Elias Chair. Apart from that,
baller. Absolute baller.
I think Chris Willett was the one that they were looking at earlier, who he'd progressed well as well and developed. Sinclair Armstrong was another one that he did quite well with as well at QPR. So he has got players he worked with. But looking at our squad, Manny, who do you think he could realistically benefit having a coach like Cifuentes?
Well, I mean, the ones that they will obviously benefit straight away would be Winks and Skip, because that's the system that they work well in. You know, they work well as a double pivot together. Ricky probably wouldn't get in the team if you don't play that way. He'd probably be a JJ if he was just an out-and-out right-back.
Yeah.
So they're going to benefit. Ricky doesn't get in the team otherwise. But it's the wingers, they're my favourite thing. I love some of our wingers, our wing play, or Monga playing at the wing or playing at 10. So I want a system whose objective is simple. Give the ball try and get the ball to your best attacking players with as much space as possible and let them do their thing. That's essentially what you're, in a nutshell, trying to do. So I want to see I cannot wait to see Fatawi back. I've been missing this boy so long. I hope he's the same player. I want to see him get the ball. I want to see him take on the fullback. I want to see him cut inside. I want to see him hit it 60 yards over the bar, but the second one goes in the top corner. You know, I want a manager who's going to get those exciting players on the pitch in the right position, and then make the team's objective to get those kids on the ball.
I would like to suggest one thing to Manny. I've spoken to quite a few people about this. Would you be up for seeing Bilal, if he stays, in a more of a deeper role, like a number 8 position rather than a number 10? Because I feel he's better coming inside and picking the ball up under pressure, and turning out of tight pockets of space. So, do you think that could be a better position for him? And then you can have like Monga and Alves fighting for that number 10 spot.
Almost wherever you put him on the pitch, he's probably going to be best player in the league. He's that talented. We saw him last season playing left. He can cover right, play anywhere in the middle. Probably do a job for your right back because he's got a good work rate and he likes to put a tackle in as well. I definitely think put him as a quarterback because he's got the vision, he's got the range. He could take we could sell Winks, put Bilal deep, and keep Monga at 10 and have them both. Imagine Bilal with Lewis Page next to him, Monga, Mavididi, Fatawu, and then a new striker. Holy hell, that's an exciting, fast, dynamic, skillful, every young, like box tick box. That's a sexy team. And then when you've got Ben Nelson and Coley behind it, I mean, those two are beasts at the back, and they can pass and they can score and they got other things too. I don't think we actually need too much. We definitely need a striker for sure. I don't actually think we're going to be playing left backs next year. By the sound, if Cifuentes comes in, we don't really need fullbacks. Remember how Enzo, we didn't really utilise proper fullbacks anymore. You know, we let Victor go out on loan. He wasn't bothered.
Well, from what I've read, Manny, is that he does like to utilise fullbacks high up the pitch.
Wingbacks.
Wing backs, right? Okay, so it read on.
Cifuentes. Oh, you mean Cifuentes likes wing?
Yeah. He likes to use fullbacks high up the pitch and overload on positions further up the pitch to create a little, overload.
I don't think that's going to work because you don't want JJ getting too far advanced and getting in the way of Fatawu unless it's an overlapping run because Fatawu wants to cut inside and you're trying to drag the fullback out wide. Yeah. And the left hand side. I mean, who the hell gets down our left hand side? So that's not going to. I have that effect on people sometimes, believe it or not.
That's always
so, like I said, you don't worry about the wing play. Mavididi has got it covered that side. Fatawi's got the other side covered. Whichever fullback they're against, they're going to have them on toast. And if they want to stop them, they're going to have to double up. And if you want to double up, there's space elsewhere on the pitch. You either crossfield to get it to the other flank, or in central area that space opens up. So I see it as a kind of you just want the defenders to hang back, keep that shape, keep that control, and like I said, let these attacking wingers do their thing. They got this.
Yeah, I don't think Luke Thomas would get anywhere near the team, if I'm honest, with a Cifuentes side. We need a great tactical manager to develop these young players coming through now. There's so many in the first team. Clibbo, you look at the youngsters: Louis Page, Jaden Joseph, Aluko, Jake Evans, Jeremy Monga. There's a lot of young, bright talent coming through that Cifuentes will thrive off. With looking at it in pre-season, he'll probably sit there on Saturday and watch the squad and think, this is good. This is what I can work with. And then he'll give pointers on from Andy King. He'll ask Andy King how he's got on with them this week. So how do you sort of see it, Clibbo, with Cifuentes working with these younger players?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity, given, his history. I think it's a great opportunity for young players to finally come out of the academy, particularly game on Saturday, and go, this guy will give me an opportunity to thrive. And he will give me the opportunity whether we've got experienced players or not, to be in that 25 come the start of the season, to me, that's important for the psyche of a young player, because I'm sure there's a massive amount of young players that have fell by the way, and been victim of the opposite end of the spectrum. And I think this is an exciting time for us, but equally for young players to go, you know what, I've got a chance here to make it here and potentially go to a Premier League club or go up with Leicester City in place of the old guard. And that's the key thing.
I agree.
Have you heard that news? Have you heard the news? Vardy's being linked with Man United.
Yeah, is that something to do with if they don't sign someone like Calvert-Lewin or something like that? It's just a backup. He's been offered there, hasn't he, according to The Athletic.
He could go there.
That'd be an interesting move, and he'd score more goals than bloody Hoyland.
Oh my God, yeah. Even on one leg he would.
Hoyland. If Rashford's setting him up and that, fantastic.
As mad as it is, I would love it.
Yeah, I would as well.
Jamie Vardy or Rashford.
I would, yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as duck and buy a Man United Vardy shirt, don't get me wrong, but I'd still...
That's fast twitch 5 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice for him to go to... I want him to go to somewhere exciting, you know what I mean? You know, it's nice for him.
I want him to go to I want him to go to Rangers just to piss off Uncle Clibbo.
Oh, no. I lived in Glasgow. I married a Glaswegian.
So you're green, yeah?
Yeah, green. Yeah, definitely. I can't support.
Oh, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You've got Russell. Your only opposition is Russell Martin this year. You'll be fine.
You could have Conor Cody as well, actually. It'd be all right.
All right, Planet Earth, who gets a fair amount of criticism these days. What's more important, promotion or developing the youth? Now, that depends on what is important to you. Now, maybe King Power are in financial trouble and they need promotion immediately. They need the 100 million quid quick. We can't wait 3 years. So we need the money today. If that's your objective, then you might come to a different conclusion. Whereas if you were having a sustainable long-term plan where that pressure wasn't on you, there was external pressures, then a sensible route, the more sensible route is obviously to, it's short-term pain, long-term gain. It's the oldest cliches has been around for donkeys. It makes sense. You work hard today, so it makes the life easier for you tomorrow. So you suffer in points. We suffer not getting wins. We maybe suffer that we don't go up.
Yeah.
But there is a purpose to it. Again, you're giving those kids game time. So purpose, it was down to me. So if I was director of football, I would say, I'm not here to build a team. I'm here to build an era.
Agreed. If this guy takes over, I feel we have a chance of promotion even with a points deduction. Then PSR will be done and dusted. He can use the money. We get promotion and move on. Promotion is more important, of course, but with the implementation of bringing young players through, the best will make it. If promotion then is playing the youth too much of a gamble this season, I would actually like Vardy to be at Old Trafford.
Can we just go back to that one from Planet Earth again?
This one.
If promotion then playing the youth is too much of a gamble this season, is it a gamble for Barcelona to play the youth in Lamine Yamal? Is it a gamble for Real Madrid to play the youth in Jude Bellingham? Is it a gamble for PSG to play Doué and Barcola and Kvashvili and pretty much the rest of the team? No, they just want to get it through your head.
In the Champions League final.
Planet Earth thinks youth means not performance. That is old school. Youth are the ones that are performing. Last year, our best players were our younger players, Bilal's, and those likes. Our older players, the experienced one, were our worst performers. And the most expensive ones too. Youth is not just about building for the future and resale value. It's about performance levels today. Who's the best talent? Who's the best talent on the books? And the back end of last season, which player got you off your feet? Jeremy Monga, 15 in the Premier League. Not someone who's 28 or 30. A 15-year-old kid was the best talent we had on the pitch.
Manny, just a quick question to you, mate. I've spoken to Uncle Clibbo about this as well. Do you believe in if you're good enough, you are old enough?
Yes, but there is a point about physicality with that. So it all depends on your body shape, your body size, how developed you are. As I think I said this with you boys yesterday, Clibbo and I remember Bruno Emil Heskey coming through. Now he wasn't like a normal 17-year-old. He's a 17-year-old going on a 27-year-old. He was
Brock.
imagine Brock Lesnar who could run rapidly as well. He was ready straight away because he was physically he had the strength to do it. Now not every player is like that, and there is an issue with robustness and consistency in those stuff. But when we say give the youth, we don't mean play them 46 times 90 minutes. That's not what we're saying. It's a staggered approach. You give him 15, you give him 20, you give him a game off, then you give him half an hour, you give him 45 minutes, a game off, then you start him, then you give him a game off, then you start him again, and you take him off after. You give them we have professional outfits that do lots of measurements about player output, energy levels. They actually come up with a tailored plan for every individual for the whole season. All things being well, this is how we want to manage you. So they'll come up with a tailored plan for every individual kid and say, this kid can play X minutes, that kid can play Y minutes.
I agree.
Here's the quote of the day. I'm not here to build a team. I'm here to build an era.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It sounded pretty good as I was saying it, to be fair.
What's Cifuentes his name on that actual quote? I think, that'd be fantastic if in 5 years' time he gets us bloody competing back in the Premier League for the top end near enough. I think it's just it's a steady progress. It's about stability at the minute and bringing everything and just sorting everything out and getting the club stable. I think that's where Cifuentes is at the minute with Leicester. He is going to progress everything this season. He's the best he can, and that's something we just got to be patient with, Manny. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, of course. It depends. It's different, isn't it? If you look at the other way, if Wilder came in, does that mean I have to get behind him and be patient? I'm sorry, I'm not going to be patient, and I'm not going to get behind him because I know how this story ends.
Yeah.
It ends in disaster. So why do I have to get on board with impending doom? It's like I can see there's a car crash coming, and you want me to just stand there and watch? No, I can't. I'm trying to stop it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this guy, like I say, he ticks every box. It just makes so much sense from... I'm trying to... you evaluate things like a hamster on a wheel, isn't it? You just go round and round and round and round about 1,000 times until you're knackered of doing it and think, okay, I think I've thought this through as much as I can do. Anyway...
That's a quote we could probably use at the end of next season.
And you're quite good at that, Manny, as well. You're quite good at finding things quickly, like, you've got this negative, you've got that negative. But even I'm struggling as well, because that's how I think as well.
Fast twitch brain. My teachers always said I was a smart ass.
Yeah, Josh, I agree. I'm in agreement with that. Pro is no good if there's no long-term plan. We need to maximise the opportunity we have. Exactly.
Agreed.
What's the point of getting promoted if we just get relegated again? Huh?
Yeah,
we're 24 back in the same bloody boat in 24 months. The same thing, same again. What deja vu? It's like the Matrix. We've seen this here before.
It's happened. Top flight experience as a manager.
Neither did Enzo, and look how he's done with Chelsea.
Enzo wasn't a manager in the top flight either when he managed Leicester. He was the number 2 to Pep.
It's about progression. It's not about top flight experience.
No.
The game is not the same as when
you could bring in bloody Sean Dyche then if you want top flight experience. And look how that's ended up at bloody Everton and Burnley.
You're right, Planet Earth. Enzo had no Premier League experience. Yeah. And he had a very young team in Chelsea. I'm sorry, he just took them up the league by, they finished 6th last season, so he's took them up 2 spots, qualified for the Champions League. He's won a trophy, he's a Club World Championship final whilst reducing age.
Look at shall be a long
What
time.
has experience got? Great points. What has experience got to do with anything? How much Premier League experience did Arne Slot have, by the way, before he won the Premier League? Zero. Zero. How much experience in the Championship did Enzo have before he managed it? Zero. You overrate experience to your detriment.
The
I agree.
experience ain't everything in the Premier League. It's how good you are at your job that matters.
Not in this day and age. Not in this day and age.
That the game. I think the game is moving pretty quickly. Football's changing again. It's quickening up. It's
You
getting
get
faster.
millions of parachute payments. Think about it. You're on a win-win.
It's like AI. Everything is going to move at an increased rapid time frame. And it used to take 10, 15 years for things to slowly. I think things are going to start moving much, much quicker now because there's so much money. You've got so many like Americans coming in, and what American companies going to do is we'll get a team of smart analysts in the room, and you guys will. Your job is to make us 300 million quid at this football club. How do we sharpen up this football club so we can improve it to a state that we can sell it and make a load of money? And they'll have mathematicians, quantitative analysts, qualitative analysts, data analysts, teams of very smart, proper smart people, like not joke people, very clever people, that their job is to run it like a business, improve performance, improve asset value, make profit. And we cannot be doing it like, let's give an agency a call, see what they can come up with. Let's have a look around before. But I'm very happy that it seems that they've learnt the error of the previous two appointments and they've made that correction. And this is what we should have done when Enzo got booted. When Enzo left, we should have got either Cifuentes or Caballero or Carlos Cuesta or Carlos Vicens, anyone who understands, who plays exactly the same way, pretty much. Anyone who plays the same way.
Carlos Corberan, yeah.
Carlos the Jackal, get him in. Anyone, Carlos Valderrama.
That's where the internal inquest would be really interesting from the last time we got relegated, and then we appointed Cooper. That internal inquest, we will never hear the outcome of it, but it would be really interesting to see actually what was said in that boardroom. Because
thought has occurred to me sometimes when you've seen like Craig Levine picking his team selection, Ian Holloway, mate. I definitely know more than Ian Holloway.
Rob Kelly.
I'd love to know which one
as well.
and Sugar.
Yeah.
I sometimes I think it is. It's like sometimes when it's your job, it can be a bit sort of 9 to 5. Like
better Dolly Parton 9 to 5.
When it's time to clock off, it's highly stressful. There's a lot of pressure on you. So when it's time to clock off, you clock off. But when it's like us, it's nearly midnight. Yeah. We just can't. We're addicts. We're sad addicts to this game, and we just can't get enough of it. Whether it's watching it, talking about it, speculating about it, it becomes like. It's an obsession. It's a very, very. I've joked before. These streams are more like an AA meetings at times. We're just sitting around, talking about all the things going wrong, trying to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah, it's therapy, lads.
It's what makes you stronger mentally.
No matter how many times this man below me has said, "I'm not watching it. I'm not doing it. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with that." There's always a way. Because you can't forget about the club you love. It's ingrained in you. It's part of your life, and it will be till the day you pass away.
They're in red, but the blue, the veins are blue, boys.
That's a strong point there. We found the Vardy, we found the Mahrez before, and we can rebuild again and do it again. No point in pushing for promotion just to fall back down at the first hurdle. Foundations.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Bang on.
The fact we're watching you guys, no shows, our obsession.
Josh is hardcore as well because like Josh is at like every stream. Mate, I hope you're married or you've got a girlfriend already because if you haven't, you're not doing yourself any favours. You need to get out there a bit more and have a bit of fun, mate. Get off these streams at midnight. What are you doing?
Right, boys, that's it. I'm going to give you the last words on Cifuentes. So I'm going to go round the round the table, even though it's a bloody block screen. Manny, last words on Cifuentes.
Yo soy muy contente con Marti Cifuentes, un entrenador increíble para mí, con un sistema del fútbol es muy simpático con nosotros, con los jugadores de Leicester.
Everything Manny said, I just agree with you.
Not bad at midnight, especially on my hourly rate as well.
There we go. Climo.
Well, depends how much. La cuenta.
Muy barato. It's very cheap.
Yeah.
There we go. Reese?
Vamos, Marty.
Like that, you see, it's like when Tete came in, there's going to be Spanish flags, everyone's going to be eating chorizo, going to be getting tapas for dinner, you'll be coming in and wearing, your little matador outfits and stuff. I've actually got one of those, I'm going to have to dig it out.
Moxie's been on Google Translate.
It's actually masculine, una, but anyway.
Yeah, that is it. It is midnight. We are going to come on. It has been a great show. It's been an hour and a half. We invest in this thing. We do it for you guys at the best possible content as possible. It is a laugh. It's a journey, and we're all on it together, following this bloody beloved, stressful football club. So, will Cifuentes be next? Is the main one. Will it be today? Will it be Thursday? Will it be Friday? I don't bloody know. But hopefully, Leicester City get this done and get the man through the door, because that's the man we now rely on to come through at Leicester City. And hopefully the team can actually make the right appointment. We can actually get some transfers done for once and actually move on to transfer talk rather than just manager talk. But Manny, thanks for coming on.
No worries, guys. Thank you again. All right, enjoy the rest of your night. I'm sure we'll catch you for about another 14 streams tomorrow.
Cheers,
later. Bye-bye.
Take care, mate.
Clivo, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it as always.
Pleasure.
Reese, all the best. Thanks for bringing your knowledge to the table. It does help when I ain't got bloody.
No, my pleasure, mate. My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Take care, mate.
We'll probably be back here again at some point.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesday now, so we'll be back again here someday talking about hopefully the appointment of Cifuentes and hopefully more news to come on Leicester. But cheers, Reese.
Take care, mate.
Right, guys, that is it from us. We have done emergency stream coming. Adios and au revoir. Bring the Spanish commentary now, mate. We're going to have to play ciao ciao. I swear that's Italian. That's shocking. So whatever happens the next 4 weeks. Game's gone. Spanish. There we go. But hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you watch this on playback, let me know your thoughts. It's Leicester City in the pursuit now of Marti Cifuentes, the ex-QPR boss. But take care. Good night. And I'll catch you again soon. Keep it the final whistle.